Hello everyone, hi, welcome to the channel of Wall Street Mojo.
Watch the video till the end, and also if you are new to this channel, then you can subscribe us by clicking the bell icon.
Today we have a topic to discuss is revenue versus sales. We are going to understand the difference over here and we'll try to figure out what exactly goes in between the difference. That is revenue and sales, they look quite similar, but there is a difference. Although revenue and sales, they are considered one and the same to many cases, but there is a still slight difference between the revenue and the sales. Like revenue, if you see, is the total amount of money that has been generated by the company. So it is like the money that has been generated by the company. And sales, on the other hand, are the total, what we call as the consideration accrued from selling goods or services by the company. So sales are the, you can say, the subset of the revenue, right? And sometimes, revenue can also be lower than sales. Let's take an example for each. In the first case that we'll take is sales, when sales is greater than the revenue, and the second, sales is less than the revenue. To illustrate revenue and sales in a much more proper fashion, sales can be said as the price that has been paid by the customers for the company's goods or services. So it is common practice that large companies, they don't fully depend on sales for its revenue, but they also have the other kinds of income, like they have the investment income, they have services, they have interest, they have royalties, fees, donations, to name a few. If you see for investments are like investment in government bonds. You have equity shares, that's ES. Then there is a thing called service income, right? So this basically includes revenue from, like installation of services. Then there are a thing called charges and interest. This is like the late payments for money by the customers. Then we have royalties. So royalties, if it's a fee used for rights or the name of your business, or licensing, which is also known as fees. It's a professional fees, that the charge of the copies, that has been made, travel, or like and mileage reimbursements, and so on and so forth. So if the total sales of, let's say, a company that's A Limited, if they have a $200 billion, and the income, this is what is sales, and the income that has been generated by other means is, let's say, 4 billion. This is other. Then the total revenue that has been generated by A Limited over here is going to be the sum of this. That's 204 billion. So this clearly shows that revenue will be over here. The revenue will be greater than sales in this case, right? Now, we'll take another example where sales greater than revenue. So now think about that, the first item of the income statement of the company. Now it is the what is called as the gross sales. The first item, the top line, which is also known as your top line, the gross sales. Now why do we call this as gross sales? See, it's because it's a figure that includes things like sales returns. You have what we call as sales discount, if any. I mean, when we deduct this sales returns or sales discount from the gross sales, we get a thing that's called revenue. That's called the net sales. And in this case, sales are more than the revenue. Like for example, if total sales, of, let's say, greenery company, let's say it is standing at $20,000, so the cost incurred due to replacement is, let's say, $400, and the cost incurred due to other discounts and deductions is, let's say, $600. So the total revenue that has been generated by the greenery company is $18,000 in total. The above example clearly shows that over here the sales greater or more than the revenue in this particular example. Right, now we will understand this with the help of the infographics to make things in a more sensible manner. The first and the foremost thing that we are going to study is the revenue. Revenue is the total amount of the money that has been generated by the company. Now we know very well things about revenue and sales. So it's the total money that has been generated by the company, and this indicates by selling of the company's goods and services. That's it. The calculation. Revenue is calculated by adding sales with other income. So when you add your sales plus other incomes, you get what? Your revenue. Let me write the formula for you. The revenue is equal to sales plus the other incomes, right? And if you see for sales, sales can be calculated by multiplying the total goods and services sold with its price. The total goods or service that has been sold with its price. So it's like sales is equal to, let's say, number of units that you are selling into the price per unit, right? So this is the calculation. Now let's see the example for the revenue and for the sales. Let's say for the revenue, if the sales of XYZ is limited is, let's say, $20,000, and the income from the other sources is 5. So when you add both, you get 25. So that's your revenue. We're just using this in a formula. And for sales, if the product is sold for 2,000, the price is 10. So multiply this, you get how much? $20,000. So this is 2,000 is wrong. It should be 20,000. So 2,000 into 10, 20,000. Right. Now, what exactly it indicates? See, revenue basically indicates the company's ability to invest, because that's the hardbound income, to allocate, its resources, maximizes earning potential. So those are some of the reasons where exactly the revenue can be used. But for sales, it indicates the company's capability of selling its primary goods and services, its operational goods and services, the main key reason for which the business running to make profit. Now, after discussing the differences, I want to quickly run you through the key differences between the revenue and the sales. Like, see, both revenue sales are used as one and the same. When it is seen in accounting terms, both can be easily be differentiated. So accounting term is the difference between both of them. Revenue in the second case can be calculated, by adding sort of sales here with other incomes generated by the company. Whereas, if you see for the sales, what exactly goes in around is that, it can be calculated by multiplying the total goods and services with its price. Third, revenue can exist without any sort of sales. It can exist without any sort of sales, but sales is automatically turns into revenue. Like, as for an example, we can talk about a new company that may have a small revenue by renting its own working space to other new businesses, but until it has sold a unit of product, it didn't generate sales. And the final fourth part, revenue basically it shows a company's resource fullness in generating money. Whereas, if you see for the sales, well, sales show a company's ability to sell its products, or what we call as services. Let me give my final thoughts on this particular topic now. As we can see that, sales and revenue, they aren't the same, even if we use interchangeably. But when a company just starts out, it has almost no existence. Remember that thing. It has no existence in the market, and that's why, to stay afloat, it may involve in generating money from here and there. So that it can produce, products or create some service and sell them. So that's why clearly sales often come when, company has what is called money to manufacture those products, buy those products at a very cheaper price. But revenue, if you see on the other hand, is a combination of all the sources of income. Let it be investment, or maybe consulting, or maybe interest that is received, fee charge, and the amount collected because of the sales. So since sales are a major chunk of the organization revenue, it is major chunk of the organization's revenue, we use sales and revenue as synonyms. So to understand sales and revenue, an investor layman needs to understand how the income statement is formatted and how it has been arranged. So if an individual learns to read the income state, he or she will be clearly be able to differentiate between the revenue and the sales. So that's it for this particular topic.
So that's it for this particular topic. If you have learned and enjoyed watching this video, please like and comment on this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.